Good morning and welcome. Happy Tuesday. This is your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And let's see, what have I got to talk about today? We're going to be talking about honor and one aspect of honor. So that's our word for today. Oh, I just noticed the moon out there. It looks like it's about 3/4 full. Very cool. Very cool. I like seeing the moon in the morning. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Back to YouTube, huh? And actually, the day that you had trouble with YouTube, it did post it as usual. So I have no idea what that was about. But technology and me, we're like this. So we'll see how things play out moving forward. And Morgan is back from her vacation. So now when I get hung up on something, I can rattle someone's cage who's far more brilliant with this tech stuff than I am. So we have a card from the Grace Cards deck today. And I like this deck because it is short and sweet, gets to the point, gives us some time to think about and talk about the concept that's there. And I think this particular concept, especially for women, is a useful one for us to consider and talk about. So let us start with some tapping. And I'm feeling the nudge to do a full round or two of tapping. And let's do it on self care, especially coming off of a holiday, because for many of us, we overdo on the holiday and then are pooped for a couple of days after. I did some great self care yesterday. I was meeting my daughter and her fiance at the Green Bay Botanical Gardens to check out for a wedding venue. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'm driving there on Highway 41, and 41 is a mess, a hot mess. They're tearing out chunks. They've got bridges removed. It's just a mess. And I can see these ominous gray black clouds in front of me. And you can see that sheeting effect when it's just dumping. So drove right into that. And of course, the lanes are going like this. They're crossing us to the other side of the roadway. And it's full of mud because they've had heavy equipment on it. So it's slippery. And not everybody drives a Subaru, and not everybody drives prudently. Can you tell I'm getting old? Anywho, yeah, they were all over the place. So I get there and I had driven out of the rain into the light. Oh, and I get there and get a message from my daughter that they caught the rain coming the other direction. So they were going to be a few minutes late, but she had called the woman and let her know. So I just went in and chatted for a bit and looked through the gift shop. That's always dangerous. I didn't buy anything though. So all of a sudden, and I can see that they've got these little parking lots that are separated by bands of trees because they're a botanical garden, right? They want their parking lot to look nice. So I can see that they've got work crews trimming trees. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome. So there's this poor guy in the middle of this pyramidal shaped tree, and doesn't it start to hail? I mean, the rain was coming sideways. The hail, at least it was small hail, but I'm sure it felt to him like buckshot because there he is hanging in this tree trying to get down, and there's a bunch of people on the ground trying to get him down. So that was just, and so then when Lauren and Derek got there, he pulled up in front. So I held the door, she grabbed the baby and ran in. But finally, then it quit. So they went back to tree trimming and we actually went out to look at venues. But holy buckets, holy buckets. Yeah, that was messy. So, but I unloaded all of the Easter leftovers. I kept a little ham, but all the desserts, all the out it went. The cheesy potatoes, they were happy to get it, and I was happy to get it out of my house. So that was self care for me. That was self care for me. So let's do some tapping on self care. Let's start with the side of the hand. Good morning, Nancy. We're going to do some tapping on self care. This is kind of your reset button. So if you find you're sort of spinning on something, do the reset. It's by your baby finger, karate chop spot, whatever you want to call it. And so repeat after me. I am open to a reset. I'm open taking good care of myself. Glad you need this. That's why you're here, my dear. I am open to seeing my own value. Inside corner of the eyebrows. If you have glasses on, you might want to take them off, but I need them to see. So, good self-care. Outside corner of the eyes. Good self-care is vital. Good self-care is necessary for providing good other care. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Under the nose. I am willing to spend more time on myself. Under the mouth. I'm willing to quiet myself so I can hear my inner voice. Collarbone. I am willing to listen to what my body has to tell me. Here comes the word honor under your arms, like where your bra strap runs along. I am willing to honor my body's needs. Around the crown of the head. I do this through the food I choose to eat. Inside corner of the eyeballs. I do this through the amount of water I choose to drink. Side of the eyes. I do this through the sleep I allow myself. Under the eyes. I do this through loving movement. Under the nose. Self-care is for me. Under the mouth. Self-care is for me. Collarbone. Self-care comes easily and naturally. Under the arms. I am the queen of self-care. And around the crown of the head. And so it is. Take a nice deep breath. Let it go. Now, if with any of those you noticed trouble saying it, do a whole round on that kind of thing. You can do a whole round on that same sentence over and over and over and over until it kind of sinks in. Or you can do variations on the theme. You can also do it with just an intention, because I oftentimes have clients who will say, yeah, but you know what kind of words to say. No, I don't. They just come flying out. If you don't know what words to say, either you can write a script ahead of time. You can Google what are some other phrases for good self-care, and you'll get all kinds of stuff. You can look at, hang on, it'll come to me. thetappingsolution.com, and they've got a plethora of free tappings that you can pick from. You can also just set an intention at the beginning of the tapping and then just do it silently. You've already set the intention. Cool? All right. So our card for today comes from the Grace Card Decks by Cheryl Richardson. It's a beautiful card. There she is. And it's called Honor. Honor. So let's take a breath together. Let it go. And it says, care for your soul. Honor the divinity within you by practicing extreme self-care. And the word that grabs me out of that is extreme, because I think if we looked at the kind of self-care we allow ourselves, it's anything but extreme, right? It's the last minute. Well, I guess I should take a little care of myself here too. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. Welcome. We need to move ourselves up the list here. Even if you go from 10th to 5th, that's a huge progression. We need to be taking much better care of ourselves. We don't do anybody any favors when we run ourselves ragged and then there's nothing left to give. They don't benefit from that, and we don't benefit from that. I'm noticing with a grandchild, got to hold her yesterday. She was so good, but you can tell how worn out her parents are getting. They're tired. So after they got home from our little foray yesterday, everybody took a nap. I'm like, that was really smart. That was really wise. We need to, and again, I don't know if you're noticing this, but I am certainly noticing that I can't push past the tired point the way I used to be able to. There were reserves in there that I could draw on. Not as much anymore. Not as much anymore. I do myself a disservice when I try to push past a boundary that my body is trying to set. That's likely when I get injured. I have this friend, she and I laugh about it actually, that she just has these moments where she goes nuts on taking care of her kids and her grandkids. And almost to the time when she does that, she gets injured. She trips off a curb and wrecks an ankle. She, a lot of times it's ankles. A lot of times it's ankles. She fell down the basement steps with a load of laundry. Wasn't her laundry. So no, exactly. You can't push past and yes, emotional exhaustion, any kind of exhaustion. Many of us right now, and hopefully Easter helped with this, have been going through spiritual exhaustion. How do you stay spiritually connected with some of the atrocities that are going on, right? And it takes some effort. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Welcome. It takes some effort to keep a solid, good, healthy connection when humanity, yeah, humanity. But again, it's about what do I want to call that? Indoctrination that we're receiving. There is much out there in humanity that is beautiful and wonderful and loving. Look for that. Look for that. Don't waste your time doom scrolling. Please don't waste your time doom scrolling. Yeah, come on. My teeth are. Anywho, you do yourself a disservice. You do yourself a disservice. And I have a lot of clients who will say, well, Bonnie, I've got to know what's going on. To an extent, yes, we don't want to do la 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 la. But if it's something that's happening that you can do nothing about, why rip your guts out over it? Why not focus on what's right in front of you about which you can do something? About with which you can do something. So make a donation to a children's program, drive someone to church next week, do some little thing, take someone a meal, call someone you haven't thought of in a long time. Do something. And I had that happen recently where I texted someone that I probably haven't talked to in a year, probably even over a year. And she sent back immediately, this is wild. I was just thinking about you. Uh-huh. That's how this thing goes. That's how this thing goes. And we need to trust that fabric that connects us that we're not even aware of. And how do we bless that fabric and live into those connections and care for the soul, care for the soul, our soul, and then we can care for other souls. Little bitty things, just little bitty things make a huge difference. If you went out and did 100 little bitty things instead of one gigantic thing, I would think that was fabulous. Why? Because you've touched 100 souls, and it may seem little bitty to you, but it may make all the difference in the world to them. We don't know what anybody else is going through. We don't know how much of the face that we see of the clerk at the store or the nurse at the hospital or the whoever, the teacher at school, is really how they're feeling, or it's just the facade they're putting on to get through it so that they can then go and fall apart. Do those little blessings, especially when you get the nudge, especially when you get the nudge. And let me think, holy moments. Look at that. I pulled it myself. Usually I have to ask you all. Holy moments. Matthew Kelly's little book, this little bitty book, is so fabulous talking about that. And it's so heartening, the number of iterations that if we continue to do that, how quickly it spreads across the world. How quickly it spreads. I think it was 18 iterations. So I do 6 things. Like in this case, he's hoping that people share the book because then it sets us up to do those kinds of things. The nice little things, smiling at somebody, opening a door, having a conversation, a little conversation, letting someone in traffic, little, right? But allowing those things that when we help 6 people understand that they can do this as well, and those 6 people help 6 people, and those then help more and more and more. Yes, thank your mail delivery people. Thank those poor TSA people. Thank the people who are doing what they do even when the conditions are hard. And they are trying to make some of those conditions harder so they can justify some things that really aren't justifiable. Getting rid of the mail delivery service for rural areas would be devastating. It's not like I mean, I laughed about that when one client or customer at the motel said to me, she was coming into Escanaba Airport, and to get to me was like, I don't know, 20 miles. And she said, "Well, I'll just grab an Uber." And I laughed. No such beast up there. No such beast. The same way, you don't have FedEx, you don't have um, Amazon, you don't have all these UPS. It's USPS. That's it. That's it. Oh, I'm so glad she gave away her last book. So the gist with the books, y'all, if you're brand new here, or if you're watching later and haven't been introduced to this, Holy Moments, you can Google it. He gives you 6 books for free. You just pay for the shipping. And once you read it, you'll go, ooh, this is a cool idea. He's creating a movement. He's creating a movement of kindness, of love, of caring for our neighbors. And so you give the book to 6 people, and then hopefully they give it to 6 people, and those people give it to 6 people. Can you see how this thing goes? 18 iterations to cover all the people in the world. How cool is that? And then there were the naysayers who said, well, not everybody's going to do that. But then there are people like Gwen who do 2 boxes full of 6. I've done, I think, 3 or 4 so far. And it just feels good to hand the little book to somebody and then say to them, if you read it and it doesn't move you, hand it to someone else. Hand it to someone else. Leave it someplace. Leave it on the back of the toilet at a restaurant. All kinds of stuff. There's options here, people. There's options here. And what we're doing is we're caring for our soul and we're caring for the souls of others. We're giving a shit about our fellow human beings. Okay? That's what we're up to. So, honor. Let's read it again because it's short, right? Care for your soul. Honor the divinity within you by practicing extreme self-care. So, what will you do today that will take good care of you? I might go out and walk around and look at my flowers today. Some of them are up about this high. Just want to see flowers. So, on that note, have an awesome Tuesday. Help someone else have an awesome Tuesday, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye. 6 in Spanish. That's even more fabulous. Love it. Love it. Love it.